Welcome back. We continue to follow that breaking news in Lewisville, where we know now one woman is dead and a suspect is in custody after that officer-involved shooting.
Fox 4's Peyton May joins us with the very latest from police. Peyton.
Yes, Lauren, we actually just got an update from the assistant police chief of Lewisville just moments ago, and he did confirm that that suspect was taken out of that room. The suspect came out of the room and was taken into an ambulance. We actually had a crew on scene that watched that happen. We heard that ambulance go by just about 15 minutes ago. We also do know that there is a woman that was inside of that room. She is deceased, according to police. We don't have any information about how she died, what her relation to that male is. We do know, though, that that male is going to be treated at a hospital. Again, that all just happened within the last 5-10 minutes. In terms of what led up to this situation here, you could see some video from the scene earlier. This happened behind what you could see as Building G at the Budget Suites. Police say they were shot at by a suspect, and there was an exchange of gunfire between police and that barricaded male. This turned into a standoff situation. Police say no officers were injured during that, but the suspect does have a gunshot wound. That's according to police. We don't know if that wound is a self-inflicted gunshot wound or if that is from an officer. They initially responded to a suicide call of a which turned into a barricaded person inside of a room. Now, again, we do not have more information of the female that was found inside of that room. There will be investigations both internally with Lewisville Police Department along with the Texas Rangers, which is standard for an officer-involved shooting. Again, we do not know yet if there will be charges filed in this situation as well, but there were drones, SWAT team, large police presence around this area. Buildings around this area were also evacuated to make sure people were safe, as this was a barricaded suspect, and there was an exchange of gunfire between that suspect and between police, according to authorities here. So we are just waiting to learn more about the woman who police say died in that building, along with more information on that suspect. I do want to say again, though, officers say here that no officers were injured in this situation. That's the latest that we have right now, but this is a very developing active situation, so we will continue to keep you updated when we learn more. Back to you.
So we're getting our first look inside the Dallas ICE facility where 3 people were shot.
2 detainees died. 1 is still in the hospital. Shannon Murray is here this morning with a look at the damage. Shannon.
Brandon, investigators say the gunman was targeting those ICE employees. Inside the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Dallas field office, several windows are shattered. There are multiple bullet holes in the walls. The FBI says last Wednesday, Joshua Yan used a bolt-action rifle he legally purchased in August, killing 2 detainees and injuring a 3rd before taking his own life. Searches of homes linked to the gunman reveal he had searched the Charlie Kirk shooting and had been tracking the whereabouts of ICE agents.
Our agents are resilient, but I'll say that this is just unprecedented. This type of violence that's been directed at ICE agents.
Investigators say the shooter used high-powered armor-piercing rounds that would have gone right through a bulletproof vest. The federal government has now increased security at other ICE offices around the country. Immigration appointments in Dallas were canceled in the days following the attack. They are now back open for business. Shannon Murray for Good Day.
And Lauren, Johnson County Sheriff Adam King is scheduled to make a court appearance here at 9 a.m. for an arraignment. Now, this court proceeding is happening while King's legal problems are deepening. He's now facing a new charge of aggravated perjury in addition to the other crimes he's accused of. The Star-Telegram says King is accused of lying to a grand jury, saying he did not change the work schedule of one of his accusers after she came forward with allegations of sexual harassment. The first indictment cites several instances of inappropriate comments to his employees and allegations of retaliation after they came forward. Those complaints date back 18 months and came to light after a 6-week investigation by the Texas Rangers. Today's court appearance is for those previous charges of sexual harassment harassment and retaliation. Now, when King was indicted and arrested back in August, he placed himself on administrative leave while the legal process plays out. Reporting live, Johnson County Courthouse in Cleburne, Dan Godwin on Good Day.
The government shutdown is expected to last 4 days, and little progress was made on a new budget bill today. Negotiations were stalled while each side chose to blame the other for the shutdown. Fox's Connor Hansen reports.
1 day into the government shutdown, lawmakers are still deadlocked over Obamacare and Medicaid funding. Republicans want a simple extension of the current federal spending, while Democrats want billions added.
They said to us, we will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars of funding for health care for illegal aliens. That's a ridiculous proposition.
It's a total, absolute effing lie.
Republicans are accusing Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of caving to the more progressive wing of his party.
Chuck Schumer wants to try to prove to somebody that he's more liberal than AOC.
But Schumer says it's about preventing Americans from losing health care.
The health care system wasn't great even before they did all their damage. They're making it much, much worse.
Meantime, tens of thousands of non-essential federal workers are being furloughed. OMB Director Russ Vought announced billions in green energy grants issued under the Biden administration are being canceled. He also announced the pause of major infrastructure projects in New York City. Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto was one of the 3 Democrats to split with the party, voting against a shutdown.
There is a crisis out there, high costs, looming health crisis, and they should be focused on working on that instead of playing games here about winners and losers. There's a problem, and they need to act like adults.
The Senate likely won't hold another vote to fund the government until Friday. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox 4 News.